growing up for me was kind of rough up until 4th grade because I had lived with my mom and my dad for a while. I remember whenever I was younger, and what with both of them being on drugs, like it was hell. It was awful. Like I remember being like young, and like I used to watch my dad beat my mom, and like all the time, and it's just like memories that have stuck with me. And after that, me and my mom had moved to Kentucky, and I remember she would always used to like leave me home for like hours at a time, just like to go out and drink and have fun with her friends, because she never really grew up herself because she had my brother whenever she was just 16. So it was really hard for me growing up when I basically had to raise myself. I was just a kid, and it was just a thing that I grew up with, and it was kind of normal for me to watch my mom and my dad destroy themselves. I don't have that many memories of my dad because whenever I was born, he was in prison, and then whenever he would get out, whenever I was young and I lived with my mom, he was always high, and I mean, he was awesome and fun and all this stuff, and he was in a band and I loved him, but like he was in prison for most of my childhood, and like there would be times where he would get out and he would come pick me up from Kentucky, and I'd go out to my uncle's house and stay all night with my dad and just have fun, but it was never really like fun for me. It was fun for a while, like spending time with my dad, and I was really excited about it, like, oh, I never get to see you all the time, but then he'd have all these girlfriends, and he would get like violent and just awful, and he was just not fun to be around, but I still loved him. I know it was like prescription medication, and he would like inject and snort and smoke pot all the time. I remember being around him doing that. When my father and my mother, it was horrifying for me. I mean, I still have these like images like in my head. Like there's one that sticks out, and it's just like my dad slamming my mom up against the wall in our house with like arm at her throat, and he just slams a telephone in the wall next to her head. And like I see that all the time. Like anytime I think about him, I see that, and it's traumatizing. But I found other outlets other than destructive behavior and self-destructive tendencies, like more outlets that I can use, like my writing, and I paint, and just other things, storytelling. I learned that I can be a very strong person, and that just because I've seen terrible things, that just drug use and all these other things, that I don't want to be like that, and that I want to be the change that I want to see in the world.